and our young adults, they go to serve communities in India. So last year there was a similar visit, which was led by one of our members, Krishna Sistla. We want to appreciate the service that, so he led that group for entire USA and conducted that visit to Siruvani. Krishna will be sharing some more details, but I want to invite Krishna here and thank you for your leadership, Krishna.
Hari Om everyone. This year, he was also there. This year, we had the opportunity to visit CORD Siruvani. So me and two other chaperones, 3 chaperones, and 13 kids from different parts of America. We all had a chance to go to CORD Siruvani. Let's go to the next slide if we can. So I think Rajiv Uncle already gave a good idea of what CORD is. Just very briefly, CORD was started under Gurudev's vision in 1985 in Himachal Pradesh, where Siddhabari is. It started as a medical clinic for the local community, and Kshama, she goes by the name Kshama Didi, she took up the mantle of CORD in India, and it is now has 6 centers spread over 5 states in India. And we were able to visit one of those sites. Now, CORD USA was formed in 2009 by Swami Tejamayanaji, and the whole idea was we would undertake humanitarian activities in America, in here, as well as raise funds for activities in India and Sri Lanka. So there is a CORD Sri Lanka as well. Most recently, Swami Swarupananda actually expanded the vision of CORD to become a global network. So and I'll also say a little bit about CORD philosophy because we learned it as students and chaperones for visiting there. CORD focuses on village development, rural development in India, and their philosophy is to go to the center of the unit of family. In the family unit, the central personality is the mother, and so Mahila. So they recognized and organized this structure called Mahila Mandals, through which the women of the village help each other form a community, just like our community here. And through those bonds of community, they're able to help each other identify the issues that they have where somebody in the community needs help. Then they connect through the government structure through something called Gram Sabha. So as a simple example, if someone doesn't have water coming, or if maybe the open drainage in the village is not is overflowing, then they'll find a way to go to the Gram Sabha as a Mahila Mandal, as a community, not as an individual, and get those problems fixed. So they have a very individualized, grassroots organization by which they're helping every individual for their individual needs. Let's go to the next slide if we can. So we visited CORD Siruvani. Siruvani is located about 25 kilometers southwest of Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu in South India. We stayed in the Chinmaya garden where the ashram is. It's a beautiful ashram, so the picture on the left shows the building that we stayed in. That should just want you guys to go there, like you would be feeling, wow, that's so beautiful. And about 10 kilometers from there is the CORD Center, CORD Siruvani Center, which is a small building that houses medical facility, training facilities, and a place for volunteers to assemble and prepare for the service activities. So with that, I will hand it over to Tanush. Oh, wait, one more. So this is the team. These are the kids that we all got together. That's our mini bus that we use for 2 weeks. The bus is small because those are the only buses that go through the roads in that area. There are 13 kids. So Anirudh, Ishan, Tanush, Ramya, Adishri, Hannah, Gayatri, Medha, Neha, Jay, Abhav, and Amok. And the 2 chaperones, one of the chaperones couldn't make it on the first day, so she's not on the picture. It's Preetham ji and Meera ji standing at the very end. So this was the unit. We went there as a family, we bonded, and it was an incredible experience. So I'll let Tanush describe his experience. Go ahead, Tanush.
Yeah, I'll just describe some stories and also give you a heads up of what we did. Hello? This is on. I hope you can hear me, otherwise I'll be talking for 10 minutes silently. So, he talked a little bit about the Mahila Mandals. The whole idea that CORD is using in these villages is empowering the central unit of each household, and the people who carry each household, the backbone of every family, are the mothers. So Mahila Mandals, those local communities where the mothers are empowered and they get more control and they can take care of each other's problems to help the villages. On the left is Dr. Meeraji. She is talking right now to the more established Mahila Mandal in one of the villages. On the right are some pictures from 2 rural villages where the Mahila Mandals have just been established or in the process of being established. It's very tough to be the first woman in the village to go and say, I want to start this. The bottom right, in fact, these are women who are all deciding who will be the leader for their new community. It's difficult to take that first leap, and so CORD helps them with that and supports them in creating these Mahila Mandals. Next slide. Of course, a big thing that we did there is for 2 to 3 days we worked on a couple of building projects. We were tasked with building 2 toilets. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a little bit more difficult than you think to make a toilet. It's a surprising amount of work that goes in there and a lot of skill. So we made 2 toilets. One was for a widow whose husband had recently passed away and had to walk a very far distance to use the bathroom. Another was a stroke victim. Before he had a stroke, he'd have to walk a very far distance as well to use the bathroom, but now he wasn't capable of making that trek. And so we built toilets for the 2 of them. These are some pictures of me laying cement, digging. Next slide. And here's some more pictures of us working on the toilet. And at left you'll see the mostly finished structure of the toilet, which we were really, really proud of because it takes a lot of work. I think what we learned here is to appreciate what we have. Here in America, a toilet is like, that porcelain throne is just there. It's one in practically every building. You get used to it. But here, these small things that we are accustomed to, they have no access to it. And so we appreciate that, but also how much work goes into getting those things to us. Much, much more. We also learn how to work together. Teamwork is surprisingly important when you're carrying very heavy bricks that can crush your foot in like 2 seconds. It's a good skill to have, and you learn how you can use teamwork to help and to give people things that they don't have, what we have. Next slide. As we spoke before, CORD also has a rural medical clinic in the local area. In the villages, they face many, many medical problems, from a large case of diabetes, lots of diabetes, to anemia, where they don't have enough nutrients and so they're deficient. And also, a lot of children are chewing tobacco, even at a very young age, all the way to their 80s. Everybody's chewing tobacco because tobacco means that you're not as hungry, you can work for a longer time, and so they'll all just chew, which is, I hope I don't have to tell you, very, very bad for your health. In these local areas, they don't have access to easy hospitals in the local area, medical clinics, and medicine is prohibitively expensive. The prices are insane compared to what they make each year. So what CORD does is, one, they educate them. They tell them what are the risks. You can get cancer, you can get strokes, blood clots, if you smoke tobacco or chew tobacco for long times. They tell them this is what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Second, they give them easy access to medicine, which you need. They have no easy way of getting it, so they find ways to reduce prices or make medicine practically free. I hope I don't have to tell you how much of an impact that has on the villages and on making sure these people live long and healthy lives. Top left, that's us talking to another stroke victim. In fact, he, even after he had his stroke, continued to chew tobacco. So that's Dr. Meeraji chewing him out for that, getting very upset with him because he and his father are still smoking in the household, even after they suffered from the stroke. On the right, you'll see us, we're just sorting vitamins and pills so that we can hand them out to villagers who are all nutrient deficient in iron, vitamin D, etc. Now the main thing I want to talk about as well is distributing solar panels and lanterns. Hopefully you remember a couple of weeks ago, early in December at this point, I yelled at all of you to give me money so that we could make solar panels and distribute them to villages. I'll tell you the fundraiser was an incredible success. We raised around $9,000 to $10,000. I think we can for that. Originally, we had this idea of distributing large solar panels and setting up solar panels in each village to give them electricity. We had no idea what we were talking about. We didn't understand the problems the villages face. And by going there, what we realized very quickly was that it's not problems where villages themselves don't have electricity. The problem is that they don't have access to light in specific households and in specific circumstances. What you learn very quickly when you go to these villages is that you do not understand their problems. It's important to realize that you have barely any idea of what's going on, and you have to be there, talk to these people on an individual level to understand what they face day to day. I could tell you thousands of stories if you gave me a couple hours about why each person needs these lanterns for different reasons. In the top left, you see we're giving out solar lanterns to a family who has a farm, and each night at very, very late at night when it's dark, they have to go into the woods with no light and protect their farm from boars and other wild animals to trample the area in the woods, in the dark. Hopefully I don't have to tell you how dangerous that is, how scary it is to have to do that. They needed those lanterns. There are hundreds of more stories for why each family needed a lantern for a specific purpose in a specific location. That's what CORD does that's, I think, special compared to many other nonprofits is, instead of using blanket fixes where they just, oh, we'll fix this whole thing like this, let's just pour some money into it. They talk to every person on every level to make sure that they address every problem. And that's something that we had to learn, which is we don't know as much as we do, and we need to ask them what they need help with. Not just help them with a problem we think they have. Next slide. This is us meeting kids in the local villages. So just like our Balvihars here, there are also Balvihars all over India. In the top left, you'll see us meeting one of the Balvihars. You'll notice, unlike this pretty incredible building we have, they're mostly outside. They don't have any building to stay inside of, and they meet outside, whether it's sunny, whether it's raining, whether it's windy, no matter what. Compared to our nice ventilation, our lights, they don't have much at all. So they have far less resources, but they're still going on, and they still teach every single week. Something that we really saw here was that these children, compared to what we have barely anything. They have hard access food. They have a hard time accessing good food and toothbrushes in their teeth, things that we just take for granted, right? Yet they are incredibly happy. The amount of joy they have, it rivals the happiness we have here. And they have some incredible aspirations. They want to be doctors, they want to be scientists, they want to be police officers. What CORD does here is CORD helps them achieve those aspirations and take care of it and distribute toothbrushes, distribute utensils and toys and things like that so that they can chase those aspirations and get the education they need. In the bottom right, you'll see a balwadi. So many children, their parents cannot take care of them when they're young because parents are working. Usually both members of the family are working and out in the fields making money, which means it's hard to take care of the child. So the government runs balwadis, where they're like nurseries, where 0 to 2-year-olds will be staying and taught by local teachers. Next slide. Here we have some other pictures from the balwadi. On the right, you'll see big Krishna over there with little Vijay Krishna. Vijay Krishna got a bit confused and thought my dad was his dad. Then got even more confused when I stood next to him. He thought I was his dad too. So that's that. But I mean, it is incredible to meet these children, and they're incredibly smart. These guys are learning how to speak English at like 2 to 3 years old. Or not 3, like 3 to 4 years old. Some of them have very good pickup of English. The balwadis are incredibly important for them so that they can be taken care of and learn when their parents can't even take care of them because they're always working out in the fields. This is us learning about rural income generation. One of the big things CORD does is to empower the women of the Mahila Mandals. They either help them with the jobs that they have, or they try to support them by giving them skills so that they can support themselves, become artisans, sell their own stuff. Because the women are also always working. They don't just take care of the house. They need to make money too, because otherwise the families are often struggling to make ends meet. And to that, you'll see somebody who is learning to make weave baskets. She was teaching us how to weave baskets out of these plastic threads that she would buy every week. It would take her around a week to make a single one of these large baskets, which she would sell for around 600 rupees. 600 rupees is not a lot in American dollars, okay? And that is a week's worth of work that she would have. Sometimes her daughter would come home and help her too. And so CORD helps her by teaching her how to make these and by allowing her to make them faster so she can make more money for her family. On the top right, that's an old, very old bakery that's been in the family for around 5 or 6 generations for a long time. And so that family has been making bread and selling it to local areas for quite a while. But as you can see, that is not a great oven. It's a very old style oven and it's no longer working as well as it used to. CORD is helping them out by trying to get them a new oven. Whether it's going to be an electrical one or just one like this but higher quality so it'll work for longer. It's not entirely sure, but they're supporting her, making sure she can continue her trade. She's an old lady who has to take care of herself. I think the thing I remember the most from visiting these households is when we were visiting the bakery, things were clearly in disarray, right? The house was not falling apart, but it wasn't the greatest. You could tell there were hard times. But I'm telling you, the person who's running that bakery, she would not let us leave without treating us with food, the stuff that she's supposed to sell. She would give us bread. I mean, that generosity it's unfathomable. It is to see somebody in such a low position still try her best to give us so much, still treat the guests so well. It tells us all how we should be, how much generosity we should have, considering how much we have in general. We also saw organic farming. So a big problem in India is there's been lots of inorganic farming with dangerous pesticides and fertilizers, fertilizer runoff. Things have been bad for the environment. So we visited an organic farm where they've been trying to return to the roots of farming, traditional Indian farming, where they take care of the soil, they rotate crops properly to ensure that plants are healthy for a long period of time. I don't know how, but we somehow got on local television. So if you want to be a star, I guess come to India. We're not sure how it happened, but we were touring a farm and then they're taking photos of us. So there's that. This is a final photo of us. This is the day before we left and came back home. After hearing about all the trips, if you are interested, anybody want to raise their hand and say that they're interested in going to India at some point for this? Any parents want to send their kids to India for 2 weeks?
That's impressive. Thanks, Tanush. I'm so glad to see so many people interested in participating in this, in continuation of this service. Even Ramesh also.
No. I had a question.
Oh, I was just going to finish and then we'll take questions. Just need one moment. I think I'll summarize my experience this way. Bhagavan lives in all of our hearts in the form of love, and in many ways we keep that love locked away, and we selectively open those locks to friends, family, near and dear. What I found out, and I think what the kids found out when we got there, is that the locks opened for everyone that we met. So you could really feel this connection with all the people that we met there. And in the end, I left with a simple impression. Thank you for letting us serve you. Because we found that connection where we could see the divinity and the humanity on the other side. While the external circumstances might look very bleak, they were divine. The people had the same divinity in them as we do. So I think all the kids, felt the connection with each other and with the families and the people that we met. Swami Vimalanandaji, Swami Sampradishtanandaji, there were so many Chinmaya mission leaders who are very engaged in the act of service. So truly it embodies the spirit of Gurudev, who was inspired by Mother Ganga. Mother Ganga comes from high hills and serves the plains of India. He decided to come down from Himalayas and serve all of us. And his followers, his students are now doing that every day in India. So that was the most inspiring part for me at the end of this journey. I'll also say for the kids who are thinking about it, absolutely do it. The values that you're learning here, they will get a new meaning to you. They'll become real to you. So absolutely, if you're thinking at whatever grade you are, there'll be opportunities to do this. So absolutely do it. For the parents, you might think your kids are not strong enough to survive the mosquito bites in India or the dust in India. No. They are a resilient plant. Once you go there, you realize once the spirit of enthusiasm gets into them, those are all small things. After the first or second day, nobody talked about these things. It all became about the activity that they were in. So your kids are very resilient, support them, make sure that they have such an opportunity to engage in a service visit like this. And for those parents who are thinking about chaperones, come talk to me after lunch today. I think for me, it was truly a spiritual experience. While it might sound like a service visit that we are doing, truly it was a spiritual experience. I met and saw God in people that I met there. So it was It was truly amazing. I want to thank CORD USA for giving all of us this opportunity. We all have this opportunity. In some way, you are all with us there. Through your contributions, through everything that we do here. So we felt your presence as well. Thank you so much. Hari Om. If you have any questions, we can take them now. But I don't know if we can take questions. We have some.
We may not have time, so maybe offline.
Yeah, I think if you have any questions, what we'll do is Tanush and I will be here after the Balvihar session. So we'll come to the main hall at 11 or 11:10 and we'll take any questions from anyone. Okay, thank you. Thank you.